When you think of a Nike brand, I want you to think of who is the user. Who's the user? Who's the end user? Who's the end user of Nike? So Nike, right? The shoes. Okay. Yeah. So this is the Nike brand. So everybody recognize this, all right? Pardon my drawing. It looks like a banana to me, actually, to be honest. Yes, Ashra. Yeah.
True.
Who is the target market? All right. Who's the target market for Nike? So can you just everyone just type into the Zoom chat right now? Who's the target market? Sports person, right? Sports person and athletic, right? Yeah. Okay. Sport freak. Those who wear shoes, right? Okay. What else? You have runner. Yeah. So we're getting more specific right now. Well, Licha said definitely not uncle, right? Not uncle. Why? Hey, I'm uncle, okay. And I used all Nike products. All right. You have footballer. Yep. Okay. What else? Okay. You have gym freak. Why do you call them freaks? These are very normal people, right? People who goes to gym. Interestingly, fashionable, right? People who are in fashion. Okay. Shoe collections. Teenagers. Okay. So we have many descriptions here, and you can see here they are in a Zoom. Interesting. Lynn says Nike Muslim woman who wears hijab, right? Yeah. So people who wear hijab too, and you have kids. You have people who is Instagram. You got yoga mom, and then you got people who is a cyclist. So there are a lot of different. With just one brand, Nike, you have so many end users. Today, one-to-one marketing is enabled by technologies like the internet. So while there are opportunities for us to do smart targeting with technologies, I think the reality is that many communications aren't targeted very well at any level. So yet, relevance should be our mantra that underpins your online marketing, all right? Your online marketing. Relevancy is always going to be the key thing that you need, right? As you cut across the customer journey. And the things that what underpins this is definitely going to be content, right? So our content needs to be relevant. So without delivering relevant, what you call communication, I think one of the things that we find that you will be irrelevant, okay? Without having relevant content, you will be irrelevant, especially in the oceans, right? As you go to your fishing expedition, your baits will not be eaten by the fish because it is not attractive. One, two, it's not relevant to them. Having a strategic segmentation, by definition, is what I call is a definition of who are your main market and audiences that you're targeting. Who is the end user? So today, right now, I want all of us to think of who is our most valuable end user. Who is our most valuable end users? So this is the definition of strategic segmentation, right? So it's the definition of main market and audiences that you're targeting. Okay, group number 4, over to you. Come on, make some noise, everyone.
Hello.
Quack.
Hello.
Hello. I'll do a bit of the intro, then I'll pass over to Ranggita.
Okay.
So for BPO, the way we do it is there'll be 2 slides here. We're going to show it in more of a primary and probably secondary audience. So for this one, later Ranggita will explain the details here. Then the next slide will be showing more towards who else are involved in this audience pool. Yeah? All right.
Okay.
Ranggita, over to you.
Thank you, Khalil. Hi, Cikgu. Hi, everyone. Okay, our subject here is BPO, where we look into our selected end users by value, right? So what we did is we have already categorized here, as you see, the accordance to the highest value, which is our internal accounts. Internal accounts here means our own TM, consisting of unified services, right? And our end user that we would be targeting would be the chief customer experience and marketing officer.
Sorry, Ranjita, sorry, just help me to understand, because I think I'm the only one in this whole room, right, that I don't understand this, right? What do you mean by internal account?
Okay, internal accounts here is our own TM, where we categorize any services that we provide to TM group as internal accounts.
Oh,
right.
So you're providing services to your mother company?
To Unify, yes.
To Unify. So
Unify
how
services.
So is the CCE, Chief Customer Experience and Marketing Officer in TM.
Yes, TM Group.
Okay. So you're going to develop a campaign for him or for
Actually,
her.
they are already they are our current customer. And we
Okay.
see there is still potential to further grow in terms of doing for them outbound services.
Okay.
We
I
also
understand now. I understand
Right.
now. So the things that in this exercise, when we list down our audiences, I'm referring to external audiences, not internal.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It's
So that's not
external.
counted.
So internal, you just pick up the phone and just call him lah. You don't need to develop a campaign, right?
But actually, it's the highest valued customer for us for BPO.
Yeah, I know it is, but your channel of your marketing communication is picking up the phone and say, Mr. CMO, right? Can we make a presentation to you and update you on the BPO, right? You don't have to use the other marketing channels. You don't have to develop a campaign, right? So I know that is your largest potential. I mean, your largest client, right? So in this exercise, ladies and gentlemen, we are really working on external prospective clients, not internal. Everybody understand? Yeah. Okay. Right. So group number 4, please take this out. This internal accounts. I know it's one of the biggest, but in this exercise, we are looking at external target market.
Sure.
Okay. So back to you.
Okay. So moving on, our target for the next one is our digital government, where we are looking to target to Tabung Haji. This is one of our largest customer right now. One of lah, right? And our end user would be the COO, Chief Operation Officer.
Okay, so an equivalent to Tabung Haji, right? What will be a good prospective client? What will be the name of the organization? So Tabung Haji is your client, your existing client right now. So if I ask the group, what is another equivalent external prospective client? It will be who? Which organization?
Be like ketua pengarah from ministries, like what
KSU.
we are doing right now, like CAC and CPRC in the light of COVID, right? KSU also. Yeah, you're right. So those positions in the ministry.
Which agency or which ministry?
In the light of COVID, I would say Kementerian Kesihatan.
Yeah. Okay. So what you do is that you talk about digital government, right? So digital government will be one of ministry, which is Ministry of Health. And who is the key decision maker? I mean, who's the end user there? Who's the target influencer? It could be the KSU. Who's the end user? It could be Mampu. I don't know. Because Mampu is the one who's going to facilitate the appointment, right? In terms of the digital transformation. So you can see here under digital government, not so much of Tabung Haji, because this is your existing clients. So this exercise, we are going after, external clients, external prospective client, who's not your client yet. Okay, everybody understand this point? If you understand this point, can you raise your hand? Right? Yeah. So it's very important. Okay, back to you, Ranjita. Sorry to interrupt.
No worries. Thanks. On that, the next would be technology product companies, likes of Samsung, Huawei, Panasonic. These are the 3 that we target under the technology product companies, right? And the end user that we're looking at here would be the Chief Marketing Officer, Chief Operation Officer, and Chief Commercial Officer. Reason being is Samsung we see has 2 parts where you can go. We can also do the outbound for them, where we in that case, the target would be the marketing officer, chief marketing officer, right? And if we are doing the inbound, where is the customer support, then we will be liaising, or we would be targeting the chief operation officers and commercial officer, right? Then moving on, the next would be regulatory bodies like Mampu, SSM, MCMC. And this, of course, we would be targeting for the inbound, where our end user would be the Ketua Jabatan Khidmat Pelanggan.
Okay.
Right, and then we go into banking. BFSI here, we have broken down to banking, financial, and the next is insurance services. So looking at banking, financial, we target Bank Islam, Maybank, Golden Touch. One of the things that we see very potential for this BFSI is tech refresh, where we provide technology as well, instead of just instead of the total inbound services or outbound services. So in this case, we are looking at the chief operation officers, CTO, and chief digital officers, right? And then we also are targeting the insurance services, likes of AIG, Takaful, and so on. In this case, we are targeting the chief financial officers because this would mean to deal with their inquiries, which is very much related to the insurance monetary, right? And the last one is the retail and FMCG, and our target companies is Lotus, Tesco, and FNN. And in this case, it will be the customer support or inbound inquiries where we look at our end user is chief operation officers.
Okay, it's interesting, the tabulation of the listing here, because it seems to me that for BPO services, outsource services, right? Business process outsource, that's what it stands for, right? BPO.
Yes.
You're targeting all the C levels. All right. Yeah. Because I think even the end users, the people who are using the end users, people who are using this processes, right? These services, they might not be able to convince, right? Sorry, they might not be the decision maker to say that we want to work with TM1.
Correct.
And a second part of observation I have is that you seem to talk to even like, for example, the CFO. It seems to me that one of the value proposition that BPO brings in is cost savings or cost efficiency.
That's right.
Am I right to say that?
Yes, correct. Because BPO being an process outsourcing, there's many services to it: outbound, inbound, human resource as a service, technology alone. So in that case, based on the services that we are targeting for that industry, then we need to see who's the right audience to speak to.
I mean, bottom line is that what I find is that it does create a more efficiency in terms of costs, right, and cost savings. Right, not just the effectiveness or the efficiency, but the cost savings, which is so important right now, right? And that's why, therefore, you want to actually use BPO service under the cloud, right? Under the cloud infrastructure.
True.
Yeah, as opposed to a physical call center, for example.
Yep.
A physical concept. Now you can have a cloud call center. I don't know whether there's such thing or not. Do you have a cloud call center?
Cloud.
There is. Okay,
yes,
all right.
Call center on cloud.
Yeah. So see, I'm also learning a lot from you all, right? And it's good for me to learn from a non-technical person, right? Yeah, because I myself as a business owner, so I can have some kind of like relation to those people out there. Okay, Khalil, you have another slide, right? After this, is there another slide after this? Group 4?
Yes. It's actually an extension of the first.
Okay, yeah.
Rangita, over to you.
All right, thank you. Basically, this is just an extension of what is stated in the earlier slide, whereby if we are looking at services, we've just broke down into the two main one, which is inbound and outbound. So if inbound, normally our primary end user or contact would be the head of departments, where we have by levels, where our first engagement of first end users that we need to target would be the customer care. And then we also have the operation. Sales and marketing would also be there because if we are doing anything related to promoting the image and image of the company. And then, of course, tech support for any technical inquiries, technical problems that we need to level back or channel back to the client, right? Then the outbound, our level 1 contact or target would be the sales and marketing, of course, because when we do outbound is to generate sales, generate leads for that company. And then, of course, financial and procurements, because in terms of process where you need to close the deals, that is a department that comes into our target lah. And then level 3 is customer care, and then of course same tech support.
If you look at all this very specific departments, you can actually target them through LinkedIn advertising. I'm going to show you how to target these departments, right? These people in this department. I will teach you how to go by sector, by job title, or by departments. You can actually target them through LinkedIn ads. In your LinkedIn, if you go right to the top right hand side, there's this tab, this button here called advertise. So you click advertise. So obviously you got to set up your account. I use this Digital Academy account. So one of the accounts here. So in the LinkedIn, I just want to share with you that each account should be dedicated to each solution. So you have in terms of account structure, you have one account for LinkedIn, which is for BPO, one for cloud services, one for cloud services, the other one for smart services. Even for smart services, you should actually do smart services banking. And another account in LinkedIn will be the account structure will be smart services insurance. You see what I mean? You got to set your account structure correctly. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard for you to manage all the data that comes in as you execute and implement your content. And things that from a meeting in terms of the business goals, overall business goals, then you can attribute, cloud services from insurance sector is performing really well compared to the banking. So you can make when you structure your campaigns properly, then you can actually compare the performance of the campaigns by your product categories. How can we reach people by their job title, by companies, by job title, by sector, by company, by departments, by job title? This is the capability of LinkedIn advertising capability in terms of targeting. So once you have done your account structure, then what you do here is that you start to create. So here, I just click on here, right? So let's do BPO here. Let's do BPO here. So what I do here is that I create a campaign. Here. So then again, once I have the account, this is a BPO account, assuming I will create a campaign group. But in this case, for this demonstration, I will skip campaign groups, because in campaign groups, you can have BPO / say, for example, government agencies, right? That's one campaign group. So under campaign group, you have for the government agencies, another campaign within the same group itself. It could be also for banks or for different sectors. So under the account structure, you have specifically for BPO. Then for campaign groups, you have various groups, one group dedicated for the bank, one campaign group for the insurance, one for the other sectors that you have. You see the account structure? In LinkedIn advertising, you need to structure account based on your solutions, right? So you have a BPO solutions, you have a cloud service, and so forth and so forth. Each of the account is dedicated for one solution. Under the account level, there are campaign groups. So within, for example, let's say the BPO account. So under here, you have a campaign group. This will be, for example, a BPO campaign group for I'm just making this up, right? For education. Then you have a BPO group number 2 campaign group, which is for banks, and so forth and so forth. So under create, you can see here back to LinkedIn, you have the account, you have the campaign groups. We can have like BPO education, BPO banks, and so forth and so forth. And then within the campaign, you have BPO education, which is a campaign group. Under that, the campaign, BPO education campaign, say for example, a name that is targeting to the CEOs, right? To the CEOs. Then it will be under your campaign name, it will be campaign BPO education CEO. This will be under the campaign level. So this will be under campaign level in terms of group structure. Okay. The example will be BPO1 education. And it will be yes.
Is similar to the hierarchy chart?
Yeah, it's similar quite in the hierarchy chart. So this what I'm explaining right now is basically a LinkedIn advertising account structure. So you can see here under the campaign level, which is the third level, after account campaign level here, which is the third part here, right? So you will have like BPO education dash. Say for example, you want to target this influencer, it will be CEO. Then you have another one which is a BPO2, which is banks. And this one, probably you want to target the more technical guys, maybe the CDO, Chief Digital Officer. Can you see this right now? How do we actually develop our targeting strategies by using LinkedIn? Because this is very important. It all starts with how you structure your account. So it could be also applied to the same thing with Google Ads. Okay, over to you, group number 1.
Okay, thank you, Cikgu Daud. So for today, we will actually missing one team member.
Sorry. I just want to say one more thing for group this one here. Okay, no, it's fine. I thought I missed out something. All right, sorry. Group number 1, over to you back again.
Okay, thank you, Cikgu Daud. Okay, so for team 1, so basically from the Well Done team, so we missing one team member for this week. Putri or Princess is not with us, so we will have 6 of us. Just nice to actually presenting. The way how we structured this is actually focusing on the smart services. So that will be our main horizontal or product portfolio that we focus. So when we're looking from the value prioritization, we know that smart services, it will be actually more relevant toward these 6 industries, starting from oil and gas, government, healthcare, manufacturing, education, and the last one BFSI, because we didn't really see the relevancy of the smart services in BFSI for the time being, because they are moving toward digital. So to start with, I would like to invite Karen to start with the oil and gas.
Okay, Karen, over to you, Karen.
Over to you, Karen.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Sam. All right. For the first one, as we mentioned, ONG, oil and gas market globally, it's the growth is anticipated to be the highest, and IoT also bring with the total potential economic impact with also the highest. Despite of the fluctuating of the oil price environment during this COVID-19, majority of the oil and gas company will still continue to invest at least same amount or more in digital technology. Especially most of us is working remote right now for the next 3 to 5 years, since we still can't see the end yet. Okay, we're still working on it. So coming back to the slide here, we are highlighting on the upstream offshore platform. We have the digital twin platform, and we focusing on the remote monitoring, especially to help people to gain the visibility, especially in oil and gas area, as the equipment below the sea level could not be monitored. And there's no real-time data access, and a lot of manual need to be worked on, and equipment below the sea level could not be monitored as well. And also safety is very, very important in oil and gas itself. So the department that we are targeting is ICT, digital transformations and operations, and most importantly is the finance and procurement, because they are the boss to release all the budget each and every year. And the main influence is to build a very strong relationship with the C-level, especially CEO, CTO, as mentioned by Cikgu Daud just now. All right, relationship is end user, as usual. They are the operators. They are doing the work itself at the oil rig. So they are none other than the reservoir engineers, drilling engineers, managers, and supervisors. Would like to pass it back to Sam.
Nice.
Okay. So basically, for just for additional info, at the moment we are working on ADM, as you mentioned, especially for Petronas, because Petronas is representing about 80% of the total oil and gas revenue in Malaysia. So I think the team at the moment are really looking into a very targeted account base on Petronas. Okay, next I move to the government. So with regard to the smart services, I think similar to the previous team, the second team, that when we talk about the local government or PBT, pihak berkuasa tempatan, so it being divided into 3 categories. So we have to understand in terms of the ecosystem of the local government. So the first one, they have a Majlis Bandaraya. So Majlis Bandaraya, normally they have a mayor in the likes of the BKL, because the coverage area is reach certain number of population. And then MBSA, for example, they have been upgraded from the status of Majlis Perbandaran into Bandaraya. So there is a totally different in terms of their structure, in terms of they have a mayor. However, the Majlis Perbandaran, normally they have the YDP, or we call it Yang di-Pertua of any Majlis Bandaran in the likes of the Majlis Perbandaran Kajang, Majlis Bandaran Sepang. So the locality is not that big compared to the Majlis Bandaraya. And the last one is actually a pejabat daerah. So pejabat daerah normally a small scale, in the like you have certain district, for example. And when we are dealing with them, there is certain ministry that have to be actually positioned as the influencer at the master level or the blueprint. They are setting up the entire blueprint, master plan for the local government to comply with. And the influencer normally is the Datuk Bandar, is the considered decision maker. And normally they have the committee members that representing from the head of department. At the Majlis Perbandaran will be Yang di-Pertua, Majlis Bandaran. At the pejabat daerah will be district officer or DO lah, district officer. And then there is a respective head of department. For example, that we're looking into the department level, engineering will be play an important, because they are doing the development and also maintenance. For example, that they, just now we mentioned few services that falls under the smart services. It could be smart parking and enforcement department. At the moment, I think there is a lot of, one of the pain point is revenue leaking, because they can't identify exactly when you're parking. So now with all the apps that being available, I think they can minimize the revenue leaking by having the real-time parking information system, and they have the dashboard as well. The second on the smart parking as well. So there will be a dedicated traffic management department, where normally it will be working closely with the GKR. So which is normally they will be considering it's part of the decision making process. And the last one, I think, with regards to smart services, it will be the waste management. I think this is a lot of potential for the time being when we're looking into the entire waste management for the local authority. So a lot of room improvement that when we actually apply or utilizing smart services, there will be efficiency in terms of the customer experience. So they can actually minimize, for example, that any tow truck coming to collect the rubbish as for the time being, they just according to the schedule maintenance. So with this one, they can just have just in time. So that means whenever that is required, so they can send a lorry. So this is where that big data can actually help to provide a real time and precision decision making in terms of managing the operation cost. Okay. That's for the government. So next I move to Jeff.
Okay, before you move to Jasmine, very quickly, I just want to add this, right? Samsul.
Yeah.
Right. So currently right now with this pandemic going around and a lot of people working from home. So the things that based on the current situation right now we're in, parking and traffic management seems to be a lesser priority, I think, as compared to waste management.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but in my neighborhood, I just find that over the last 18 months, right, there are a lot of waste. People are throwing things.
Yes.
So even my council, my MPPJ council, they actually allocated two big tong, just for people to throw things.
Housekeeping. This is the time that
yeah, exactly. And the things that I find that we also must be sensitive to the current situation right now. And because we have limited resources, we have limited capability, and we have also limited time, we need to prioritize, right, within the government sector, within the local municipality, right? I mean, whether engineering department is more important compared to enforcement like parking and traffic versus waste management.
Yep.
So in this case, I may pick waste management as one of my first, campaign that I want to do for smart services.
Yep, agreed.
Right.
Okay.
Just want to add on that. All right.
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks for the feedback.
So I'll pass time to Jasmine now. Jasmine, over to you, Jasmine.
Okay. All right. Thanks, David. Hello, everyone. Yeah. I'll be talking about this healthcare. Basically, healthcare because of COVID-19. Smart healthcare is already a very popular trend among all the industries. So be it IoT services, especially for IoT for patients, IoT for physician, even the IoT for hospital in a 360 kind of angles. So when we talk about healthcare over here, we are focusing on two prongs. One is the private hospital, which is something like a KPJ, Sunmed, Prince Hospital or Gleneagles. And our influences, we are looking at the C-levels of offices or IT department, which is the Digital Transformation Office and Innovations, and even the procurement, administration, and finance as well. In terms of end user, we'll be looking at the IT department or infrastructure, the facility department, procurement, administration, finance, even especially doctors and nursing. So when we talk about focusing on the public hospital, we are talking about the Ministry of Healthcare. The influencer we are talking here is the Director General, which is of the Public Hospital and Clinic Kesihatan, and also the sub-directors of different units or divisions and HODs as well. The end user, of course, will be the specialists, doctors, nursing, directors of all this Kesihatan, as well as the patients. Okay. So I'll pass it on to Ika.
Okay, I just want to add one thing here. I was just inspired to think about this, this pandemic's COVID-19, right? So one of the things that, because the Delta variant is very much of an airbound, and one of the things that area that IoT can provide is to monitor the carbon dioxide level in every premises. Because if the monitoring shows that there's a high level of carbon dioxide, which is released by us humans, right, within a confined area, means that that location is very, very risky, right? Very risky. So the things that I'm just thinking around, right, in terms for the healthcare, and one of the immediate thing that TM1 smart services can do for the healthcare industry is to monitor the carbon dioxide level in offices, in what they call in premises, right? Workplace, hospitals, shopping malls, and so forth and so forth. Because this is one of the things that we can take a measure to monitor whether the place is very risky in terms of the transmission, right, through air. And one of the things is to monitor. I believe IoT, you can actually monitor the carbon dioxide level, and probably, in fact, from there work with those what do you call air ventilators, right? Who actually fix in the air cons in those public places. I'm not sure. I'm just thinking along those lines. So
Yes,
then, yeah.
You are very right, because there is certain standard. I think on the healthcare, normally the compliance, especially on the HEPA standard, I think is something that
HEPA, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
HEPA standard, yeah.
Yeah, so HEPA. So you might want to put a side note there, right, later on, because this is going to be useful for you to do your targeting strategy. And secondly, it's also come out with content that is relevant on that part of the basis.
All right. So for manufacturing is just like any other businesses out there during this time, they're actually affected by the pandemic. So with everyone in major need of electronics, F&B, plastics, so chemicals, 3D printing, textile might be on the lower side right now. So as for the departments, would be of course the ICT, the Digital Transformation Office, the operation, and the finance and procure on all the smart services that they might need. And the influencers, of course, would be the C-levels and the HODs, and the end users would be the line managers, the engineers, the technician who's going to work on those services.
No comment on this. Very hard for me to be inspired with textile and plastics.
Yeah, for me too. Yeah, because even on our own smart services line for manufacturing, it's more on the machine itself. It's just more on sensors and basically the foundation of the connectivity, not much of robotic arms or nothing like that yet.
So basically, for the time being, when we work on especially for manufacturing, we have the framework on manufacturing. For example, that to automate most of the component in the manufacturing, for example, that the genset, I think that is the most critical, and we have OEE, the overall effectiveness of equipment. I think that will be tied into the predictive maintenance. I think that will be one of the pinpoints that being faced when we move into IR 4.0. So at the moment, we really have that, the framework for that, but we are still in very early stage. So it's still on creating the awareness, getting more reference from our customer base. And from them, I think we can move from the awareness level, from the reach out into the action, and also the convert. So that the stage where we are. All right. So next we move to Lily.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I suddenly got inspired by what you say, Samsul. I just got inspired. All right. Okay. So we all know that the manufacturer sectors have two issues. One is that the hiring of foreign workers. Number two, with the same foreign workers, they have this cluster, right, which is the Kilang cluster. Right. So and moving forward, the virus is not going to go away. It's going to move from pandemic to endemic, right? So we know that the virus is going to be there, and they will have this problem moving forward. So the key word that Samsul, you just raised up just now is IR 4.0, right? IR 4.0. So IR 4.0, to me, what I understand is about automation, right? Automation using robotics and all this, and not only that, also real-time monitoring, which smart services can help in a sense. What I'm saying is that let's focus on manufacturing, try to move the industry, try to educate the industry in terms of the value proposition for IR 4.0. IR 4.0, what are the benefits? Then your target market, the individuals that you're targeting will be what? Who? The business owners, the shareholders, because everybody is looking at efficiency, cost savings, and sustainability. Sustainability is not just in terms of the hiring of workers, but also the environmental sustainability. So you can see that from this exercise, when you start to think about your target market, all right, list your audience, it really gives you that inspiration to think about the kind of topics that you want to talk about, which is current, relevant, and something that you can help to solve challenges. Over to you, Lily.
So similarly, with the pandemic coming to 2 years, online learning is being focused right now for both IPTA, Institute Pengajian Tinggi Awam, and IPTS, Institute Pengajian Tinggi Swasta. So for IPTA, the focus, IPTA as in the Awam part, the focus is with MOHE, UTM, UKM of the world. And for IPTS, it's the likes of MMU, IUKL, UTP, so on and so forth. So what we are targeting is the Department of IT, facilities, faculties, operation, and not forgetting procurement and finance, which a lot of marketers tend to forget. Reason being, why we should not forget is because procurement and finance are the gatekeeper to our budget. So despite that, they are not the end user of the product or the platform or the services or the solution that we are going to implement. They need to know about the product and how it is being used, because they part of the team that's going to approve the budget. They have a say in the budget in that sense. So the influencer will be the DG for Ministry of Higher Education, the Vice Chancellor, the faculty dean, so on and so forth. Yeah, because they being the stakeholder in education industry, so they can influence how we go about. The end user, as every other vertical, is the same or more or less similar, is the HOD of the world, directors, managers, and of course lecturers. So what we are doing now, we have a product called under Smart Services. We have a product called Moodle on Cloud. It is still work in progress. It's actually an open source learning platform. What we have done currently is we have done a playbook to enable sales on how to sell Moodle on cloud. That has been done, but I don't think the training has taken place yet. We are also will be crafting, I think, in a month time or so, solution brief, fact sheets, and EDM to blast out to our customers so that they will be aware that we're coming out with this program, with this product, with these services and solutions, so that, you know, when our sales meet them, you know, they are not lost and, hey, what is this? What new product is this? So, you know, we're doing it staggeredly. At the end, we also be having a smart services video whereby it's actually a total smart services video, but there will be a portion of smart education in that video, whereby that video can be shown to the customer as totality what smart services have, but we can also take a snippet of the smart education and show it to the customer when meet them. We can also push all this content on all our social media platforms.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I think this is very much needed, right? So the things that let's focus on what you just said just now, right? Yeah, just now I said. Can we move to Rashid?
So for the BFSI, so we are focusing on the first and second tier bank customers, which consists of Maybank, CIMB, and SME. I think that also insurance agency like Etika and Tekka Foundation. So the department that will be involved, like facilities and asset department, and of course we're talking about smart branch and digital banking, where in this pandemic we are much likely not involved physical communication or physical meet. So we talk about digital banking, that we support that eKYC that usually last time we have to go to the bank to open up your savings account or whatever account, but now we should move forward that we don't have to go to the branch and do the transaction. We could do it online through the apps and digital banking apps, for example. So this is where we come to the influencer, that we have to convince the C-level and the CDO that how can we help them in transforming the banking, so that we don't have to go to the bank and do the transaction physically. Then the end user will be the digital experience office, the front desk officer, where the front desk officer then have to communicate directly with the clients, and then the department within the bank, the BFSI itself, because we don't want the clients having a hard time to communicate regarding their matter within the brand, within the departmental of banking. For instance, in a loan matter, in a credit card matter, you know, there is a lot of scam things happening during this time. So we believe that we could open up a Zoom video or a video conference with a specific person that could handle our problems there, which is where we propose our smart services to the bank. I think that's all from me.
Okay, you're right. Thanks. Okay, everyone. Now the time now is 12:36. We're just going to do one more thing before we call it a day. So if you look at the exercise that you did so far, you have really listed down the audiences, and the things that what I want you to do right now is that I want you to pick one of the most important individual in your list, right? So like if I look at this case here, oil and gas will be number one, right? For this group one. So it will be oil and gas sector, right? Upstream offshore platform, right? And the department will be which one? Is it operation? Is it transformation or digital or ICT? So probably you need to discuss and say that perhaps we say you want to select operation, right? Operation here. So I'm here right now, right? So I want you to identify one individual. So this individual is an individual that works in the oil and gas industry and actually is in charge of this remote monitoring and managing real-time monitoring stuff. And he or she works in this operation department. He or she could probably be head of department of this offshore platform. Then what you do is that once you identify that the one individual, what you do is that you will fill up this template here, right? This template here, which I'm showing you here. Just give the person a name, for example, which is over here. Give the person a name, which is right on top here, next to the picture. And then what I want you to do, right, is just to focus on the challenges, the barrier and challenges, which is over here. I'm just going to go to our digital sandbox right now. Okay, so what you do is that afterwards, go to your respective groups, and underneath the groups itself, there is this similar spreadsheet here. What you do is that on the right hand side here, you will click on this link here. When you click on this link here, you will open up your group's persona template. You open up your group persona template, right? Then what I want you to do is that from the list of audience that you have put in, you just put in your number one individual. Like I mentioned just now, in giving you example from here, from group one example, I will pick oil and gas because it's ranked number one right now in my list. And I will basically put in, people who is the individual who's in charge of the upstream offshore platform, whereby they need to monitor and manage the real-time efficiency, right? Safety and monitoring, and work in the operation department, and it's probably a head department, right? So then you put the profile, this profile here, into this template here, So you give the person a name, right? Just put a name there. It could be, Samsul bin Muhammad, right? And then you can put in what you call a picture, right? Just a picture. And the things that you can fill up the names, the decision maker, the age. Just give a demographic profile and what is the decision-making style, what is their personal, where they are, a little bit about themselves, and what's their work, what is their responsibility. But what I really want you to focus on right now for today's exercise, once you quickly put in their name, all right, and description of their profile, I want you to go and focus on the barrier and challenges.
David, just want to ask.
Yes.
Are we using real person or it's just a phony one?
It's just a fake one.
Fake one, right?
Yeah, just a fake one. All right. So at least you have a what do you call description in terms of who are you targeting, right? When you develop a campaign. So and one of the steps that we do before we create our content assets is to identify what are the barrier and challenges of this particular individual has in terms of in terms of this products that we are actually selling to him. So like for instance, the things that let's focus on the, say for example, smart services, right? So smart services. So smart services, if you look at smart services itself, within the oil and gas, what are the challenges that they have in terms of remote monitoring and managing real-time efficiency and safety monitoring? What are the challenges, right? What is the challenges that this particular individual that you have already put in this template, what do they face? What are the challenges? Like for example, smart services, right? In this area, what do you think are the challenges, right? What are the challenges involved? What are the challenges involved in this oil and gas industry?
I think at the moment, the one of the challenges is in terms of the scarcity of the resources. So during this pandemic, we know that they have to actually manage in terms of their bottom line, especially on the operation cost. So one of the aspirations that they would like to go into the zero carbon footprint. And the second thing is the digital twin is basically they would like to do all remotely, monitoring remotely from onshore to offshore. So they
Okay,
like
okay.
to have unmanned operation team in the offshore. So with that, all can be actually managed remotely. So versus right now, there is a lot of process that to have to fly in using chopper, all the teams to be 24/7 on the offshore. So it makes the cost huge. So now to manage with the current oil price that has been dropped, probably lower than their ROI target. So they have to manage it properly to minimize the operation cost.
Wonderful. Right. So Samsul, you already given the whole narrative in terms of the barrier and challenges for oil and gas for this particular person who is actually working in the operation side, who is probably a head of department.